Have you ever found yourself sitting quietly with a cup of tea, perhaps watching the sunset or listening to the hum of your home, wondering if love has passed you by or if it's still waiting just around the corner? Maybe you've asked yourself, can I fall in love again at this stage of life, or is remarrying now a wise choice or just wishful thinking? If you're in your 60s, 70s, or even 80s, these questions might feel both thrilling and daunting, as the idea of remarriage stirs a mix of excitement and uncertainty. You're not alone. Countless others are standing at this same crossroads, wondering how to navigate love, family, finances, and personal happiness in this chapter of life. That's why you need to watch this video until the end, because we're diving into 5 essential truths about remarrying after 60 that could shape your happiness, protect your peace of mind, and secure your future, helping you make a decision that honors the life you've built and the love you still hope to find. Before we begin, I would appreciate it if you like this video. You can help me continue to spread the old age lesson. If you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like this video, please comment number 1. If you don't like it, comment number 0 to let me know, so I can make a better video for you. Now let's get started. James serves as a poignant example of the unexpected complexities that can accompany remarriage later in life. At 72, a retired high school principal with a distinguished career, James had spent years building a stable life. After his wife of 4 decades passed away, he faced several solitary years marked by quiet reflection and routine. Then he met Carol at a community book club, and their connection was immediate. Carol, a vibrant 68-year-old with a quick laugh and an infectious enthusiasm for life, brought a spark back into James's world. Her warm smile and boundless energy made him feel youthful again, as if he were 40 and starting anew. Within a year, their relationship deepened, and they decided to marry, envisioning a shared future filled with companionship and joy. However, in their excitement, James overlooked a critical step: consulting a financial planner. He was unaware that his Social Security benefits, which he received based on his late wife's work record, would be significantly reduced upon remarriage due to complex federal regulations. In some states, he learned too late, Carol's outstanding debts, accumulated from a previous business venture, could legally entangle with his assets, creating potential financial strain. Most surprising to James was the realization that his existing will, carefully drafted to ensure his children inherited his estate, would need a complete overhaul to avoid legal disputes and ensure his wishes were clear. Without these preparations, their union risked unforeseen complications that could overshadow their happiness. This underscores a critical truth about remarriage later in life. Love is not the only thing you combine. You're merging 2 intricate histories, financial, emotional, and familial, that have been shaped by decades of decisions, obligations, and experiences. Without careful planning, the romantic vision of a happily ever after can quickly become a tangle of legal, financial, and emotional challenges. That's why consulting a financial advisor who specializes in the needs of older couples is essential. Such an expert can clarify how remarriage might affect your tax status, from shifts in filing categories to potential increases in taxable income. They can also outline impacts on healthcare costs, such as changes to Medicare eligibility or long-term care insurance, and explain how government benefits like Social Security or pensions might be altered. For instance, remarriage can affect survivor benefits or spousal benefits, depending on the specifics of your situation. Beyond finances, a prenuptial agreement might be worth considering, not as a sign of distrust, but as a practical tool to provide clarity and protect both partners. A prenup can delineate which assets remain separate. James's story is a compelling illustration of the complexities that can arise when remarrying later in life. At 72, James, a retired high school principal with a distinguished career spanning over 3 decades, had built a life of stability and purpose. After his wife of 42 years passed away, he navigated several years of solitude, filling his days with routine, volunteering at the local library, tending to his garden, and attending a community book club. It was at this book club where he met Carol, a 68-year-old retired nurse with an effervescent personality. Her kindness, lively spirit, and radiant smile rekindled a sense of youth in James, making him feel as though he were 40 again, full of hope and possibility. Their connection was immediate and profound. Within a year of shared coffee dates, long walks, and heartfelt conversations, they decided to marry, eager to build a new chapter together. In their excitement, however, James overlooked a crucial step: consulting a financial planner. He was unaware that remarriage would reduce his Social Security benefits, which he had been receiving based on his late wife's work record. Under federal regulations, these survivor benefits could be significantly diminished or even eliminated upon remarriage before a certain age, a detail James hadn't considered. Additionally, he hadn't realized that in some states, Carol's debts, stemming from a failed small business venture she had undertaken years earlier, could legally entangle with his assets, potentially jeopardizing their financial stability. Most unexpectedly, James discovered that his will, meticulously crafted to ensure his 2 adult children inherited his home, savings, and family heirlooms, would need a complete revision. Without updating it, the will could lead to legal disputes or unintended distributions, especially given Carol's financial obligations and her 2 children from a prior marriage. These oversights, left unaddressed, could transform their joyful union into a source of stress and uncertainty. This highlights a fundamental reality about remarriage in later life. You're not just combining hearts but entire histories, financial, legal, and familial. These histories carry decades of decisions, obligations, and plans already in motion, and without careful attention, the romantic dream of a shared future can quickly become mired in complications. For this reason, consulting a financial advisor who specializes in the needs of older couples is not just advisable but essential. Such an advisor can provide clarity on how remarriage might affect your tax status, such as shifting from single to joint filing, which could push you into a higher tax bracket or alter deductions. They can also explain impacts on healthcare costs, like potential changes to Medicare Part B premiums or long-term care insurance eligibility. Government benefits, including Social Security or pensions, may also be affected. For example, remarriage before age 70 can reduce or eliminate certain spousal or survivor benefits, depending on the specifics of your and your partner's work histories. A prenuptial agreement is another tool to consider, not out of mistrust but as a proactive step to ensure clarity and protect both partners' interests. A well-crafted prenup can specify which assets remain separate, safeguarding inheritances for children from prior marriages or shielding one partner from the other's debts. For instance, James could have protected his savings from Carol's business-related liabilities, ensuring his children's inheritance remained intact. These financial discussions, while seemingly unromantic, are an act of love in themselves, fostering transparency and mutual security. They ensure that both partners enter the marriage with a clear understanding of their shared and individual responsibilities, preserving the harmony of their relationship. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 1 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. Beyond finances, remarriage later in life introduces another layer of complexity: family dynamics. When you remarry, you're not just blending 2 lives but 2 entire family histories, complete with children, grandchildren, and sometimes ex-partners or extended relatives who remain part of your life. These relationships bring emotions, expectations, and, at times, resistance. Linda's experience illustrates this vividly. At 68, Linda, a retired librarian, assumed her adult children would be overjoyed when she found love again with Tom, a widower she met at a community dance class. Her children had encouraged her to stay active and social after her husband's passing, urging her to embrace life fully. But when she announced her engagement, the family's reaction was mixed. Her daughter, Sarah, expressed concern about how the marriage might affect her inheritance, particularly the family home, which held deep sentimental value. Her son, Michael, felt uneasy about sharing holidays like Thanksgiving with Tom, a man he barely knew. Most poignantly, Linda's young granddaughter asked, "Will Grandpa still be at Christmas?" A question that tugged at Linda's heart, revealing the emotional weight of change for her family. These reactions weren't rooted in disapproval but in the need for adjustment. Family members often fear being replaced or losing the familiar structure of their lives. Children may worry about their place in your heart or their financial security, while grandchildren may struggle to understand how a new partner fits into their world. These concerns reflect a natural process of adapting to a new normal. To navigate this, early and open communication is key. Share with your family why this relationship matters to you, acknowledging their feelings while reassuring them of your unwavering role as their parent or grandparent. Invite them to meet your partner gradually, perhaps over casual dinners or shared activities, but avoid forcing connections. Building trust and relationships takes time, and patience is essential. Empathy is the cornerstone of this transition. Recognize that everyone, including you, is adjusting to a redefined family dynamic. Your children may need reassurance that their memories of their other parent remain sacred, or that their financial future is secure. Grandchildren may need extra time to bond with your new partner, perhaps through shared interests like baking or fishing. Even you may feel torn between the life you've built and the new one you're creating, grappling with the joy of new love and the lingering grief of past loss. This emotional complexity is normal, and it's okay to feel overwhelmed. Remarriage at this stage is about finding companionship while preserving the peace, stability, and clarity you've earned over a lifetime. Shifting to the emotional landscape, remarriage later in life carries unique expectations that differ from earlier years. Love after 60 isn't about fairy tale romance or grand gestures. It's about something deeper, more grounded, and often more meaningful. In youth, love is tied to building careers, families, savings, and a future yet to unfold. But later in life, you're not constructing a life from scratch. You're enhancing the one you've already shaped. This shift changes the nature of love and the expectations that come with it. For many, companionship takes precedence over passion. A quiet understanding, sharing a morning coffee in comfortable silence or laughing over a shared memory, often means more than dramatic declarations. Independence, hard-won through years of self-discovery, becomes a cornerstone of any new relationship. George's story brings this into focus. At 75, a retired civil engineer, George had been widowed for 8 years when he met Marie, a 70-year-old divorcee, at a local gardening club. With his late wife, George had shared every aspect of daily life: cooking meals, grocery shopping, even folding laundry together in a rhythm built over decades. Naturally, he expected a similar closeness with Marie. But Marie, independent after 15 years living alone, had her routines. She cherished quiet evenings with a book, preferred sleeping alone, and when George suggested moving in together, she responded gently, "Let's take it one step at a time." Initially, George felt hurt, questioning her commitment. Over time, however, he realized that Marie's love was genuine. She simply valued her autonomy and wanted a relationship that honored both their identities. This realization highlights a key truth. Love later in life is about connection that respects who you've become, not about merging into one indistinguishable unit. Open conversations about emotional needs and boundaries are vital. Do you want a partner to travel with, exploring new places, or someone to share quiet mornings in the garden? Are you eager to live together, or do you prefer maintaining separate homes to preserve independence? There are no wrong answers, only the need for alignment. Unspoken expectations, even reasonable ones, can erode a relationship if left unaddressed. Moreover, the emotional imprints of your past, grief from a lost spouse, pain from a difficult marriage, or joy from cherished memories, shape your present. Acknowledging these experiences, rather than suppressing them, can strengthen your new relationship, allowing you to bring authenticity and resilience to this new chapter. Embracing vulnerability by openly sharing your past experiences, fears, hesitations, and even the emotional scars you carry allows a new partner to connect with the authentic you. This transparency is the cornerstone of building a meaningful, enduring relationship in this later chapter of life. Lasting love at this stage isn't about presenting a polished version of yourself or pretending the past didn't happen. It's about showing up as you are, with all your complexities, and being met with understanding and acceptance. That's why emotional readiness is just as critical as practical considerations like legal or financial planning when contemplating remarriage after 60. If you're still grappling with unresolved grief from the loss of a spouse or lingering resentment from a previous divorce, it's not only acceptable but wise to pause. Give yourself the grace to heal, to process, and to approach a new relationship with a heart that's whole, or at least moving steadily toward wholeness. Rushing into love before you're emotionally prepared risks carrying old wounds into a new partnership, which can undermine the very connection you're hoping to build. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 2 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. The goal of remarriage at this stage isn't merely to avoid loneliness. It's about cultivating a relationship that fosters peace, mutual support, and shared joy. It's about finding someone who understands the nuances of your heart, someone who doesn't flinch when you tear up at a song that reminds you of a past love, or who respects that discussions about your children might require a little extra sensitivity. Love after 60 isn't about erasing the chapters of your life that came before. It's about honoring them while courageously opening yourself to a new story. This kind of love requires both partners to bring empathy and patience to the table, acknowledging that each of you carries a lifetime of experiences, some joyful, some painful, but all integral to who you are today. Beyond the emotional landscape, there's another critical aspect of remarriage that often lingers in the background but deserves to be brought into sharp focus: the legal implications. Marriage at any age is more than a union of hearts. It's a legal contract with far-reaching consequences, particularly when you're over 60. At this stage, remarriage can impact everything from your healthcare decisions to your estate and inheritance plans. Take the case of Barbara, a 67-year-old small business owner who had spent decades building a successful life and raising 2 children as a single mother. When she met Tom, a retired Navy veteran, their shared love for classic movies, Italian cuisine, and witty banter felt like a gift. Both were emotionally grounded and financially stable, and their connection seemed effortless. So when Tom proposed, Barbara's heart said yes without hesitation. But a quiet instinct urged her to proceed with caution. Before moving forward, she consulted a family attorney to ensure her affairs were in order. What she discovered was eye-opening. Without proper legal documentation, marrying Tom would automatically grant him certain rights to her estate, her healthcare decisions, and even aspects of her business. In the event of her passing, this could create unintended complications for her children, potentially leading to disputes with Tom over inheritance or control of her assets. The realization wasn't about distrust, it was about clarity. Barbara and Tom sat down for an open, honest conversation and decided to create a prenuptial agreement. This wasn't a sign of doubt in their love, but a mutual act of respect. They wanted to enter their marriage with clear expectations, ensuring that their commitment protected not only each other but also the loved ones tied to their lives. Legal tools like prenups, wills, trusts, powers of attorney, and healthcare directives may not feature in romantic fairy tales, but they are essential for building a secure future together. These documents ensure your wishes are honored, your assets are safeguarded, and your loved ones are spared the stress of navigating a legal labyrinth. Planning for these practicalities isn't about anticipating failure or disaster, it's about fostering peace of mind. Ambiguity around money, property, or medical care can breed tension faster than almost anything else, and at this stage of life, preserving harmony in your relationship is paramount. By addressing these matters up front, you create a foundation of trust and transparency that strengthens your bond rather than straining it. This emphasis on preparation extends beyond legalities to the very way you define happiness in your 60s or 70s. As you age, your understanding of joy evolves. In your younger years, happiness might have been tied to tangible achievements, a thriving career, a new home, or the bustle of raising a family. It was about momentum, building a legacy, securing a future. But now, happiness often takes on a quieter, more introspective rhythm. It's found in the simplicity of a peaceful morning, the warmth of a meaningful conversation, or the freedom to spend your days in ways that feel authentic to you. When considering remarriage, it's essential to ask yourself a pivotal question. Will this relationship enhance the happiness and balance I've worked so hard to cultivate, or will it demand sacrifices that disrupt the life I've built? Consider the story of Walter, a 72-year-old widower who found companionship with Karen through a local gardening club. Karen's vibrant energy and zest for life were magnetic. She was always planning their next adventure, from weekend getaways to cross-country trips, and her enthusiasm initially brought a spark to Walter's days. Their courtship was filled with excitement, and when they married, Walter and union felt like the natural next step. But as time passed, he began to feel drained. It wasn't Karen herself, but the mismatch in their lifestyles that wore on him. Walter cherished slow, quiet mornings with his coffee and newspaper, while Karen thrived on a fast-paced, activity-filled schedule. He preferred the comfort of local routines, while she craved constant travel. What began as a beautiful connection slowly became a series of compromises that left Walter feeling like he was constantly adjusting to a life that didn't align with his deepest sense of contentment. Reflecting on his experience, Walter didn't regret marrying Karen, but he wished he'd spent more time reflecting on what happiness meant to him at this stage of life. Love after 60 doesn't always mean merging every aspect of your lives. It's not necessarily about living under the same roof, combining finances, or sharing every moment of your day. For some, happiness might mean maintaining separate homes or keeping Sunday mornings sacred for personal rituals. And that's perfectly valid. You've earned the right to protect the peace you've cultivated over decades, and a healthy relationship should amplify that peace, not diminish it. This is why defining your version of happiness is so crucial before committing to remarriage. Ask yourself, what brings me calm? What energizes me? What makes me feel most like myself? A loving partnership in this chapter of life should honor those answers, not overwrite them. For some, remarriage brings a renewed sense of purpose, deep connection, and shared joy. For others, independence with a close companion nearby feels truer to their needs. And for some, the discovery is that they needed time to fully embrace the person they've become. There's no universal blueprint for love after 60, only your truth and the courage to pursue it. Ultimately, the message is clear. You have permission to prioritize your happiness. You're allowed to ask tough questions, take your time, and approach love with intention. At this stage, a relationship shouldn't feel like a leap into uncertainty, but a deliberate, confident step toward a life that amplifies the peace, connection, and fulfillment you already cherish. By balancing emotional openness with practical foresight, you can build a partnership that not only honors your past but enriches your future. You've just explored the 5 essential truths about remarrying after 60, from navigating finances and family dynamics to understanding your emotional needs and legal considerations, all while defining what happiness means to you in this chapter of life. Now, we'd love to hear from you. What's one thing you've learned from this video that resonated with you, and how will you bring it into practice in your own life? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. We read every single one. If you found this video helpful, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Strong Elderly Life, for more thoughtful, empowering content to guide you toward a life that feels peaceful, fulfilling, and true to you. Here's to living your best life at any age.